Alright, hey guys. Uh, started really getting down on painting my combat patrol. As you can see here, these are Infernus Marines and a pretty terrible looking base for my captain, who is currently in pieces. But what I wanted to kind of go over with right now is, uh, I'm going to be painting them up as red scorpions, which require a gray armor. Alright, and for the Marines, yeah, sorry about the focusing portion of this, using the phone, still working on how to get things to just sit the way they are. But yeah, red scorpions use a gray armor. They have black shoulder pads. Alright, now they will end up with a yellow trim on the shoulder pads themselves. Alright, that's also me trying to gauge depth perception based on, the video itself. Kind of trippy once you get over the whole, it wanting to focus on either my finger or the models. So that'll take some getting used to until I figure out how best to do videos with what I've got. Now, whenever it gets to, say, like the Terminators, instead of yellow trim, they use a yellow shoulder pad. Okay, I've done the gray armor on this one. I've chosen to do kind of like a black casing to the various weapons. And I've opted, if possible, not to paint over what's on the, the belts, just because I think it just looks good. Haven't touched skin or anything like that. I would have personally preferred to do all helmets, much like the Space Marines here. Now, I did use something called Basilicanum Gray, which is a contrast paint, which I sprayed everything white. Use the Basilicanum Gray because it gives you a wash and kind of like a light color of, say, like in this case, gray, but I apply it pretty heavily. Some people say, no, don't do that. I think it provides a nice look to it. And when you get down to it, when you're applying, say, like the gray to the rest of this model, where I need it to be put, it really provides, I want to say, like some extra depth to the model, like kind of like having a shade under the main color itself. Some people would say you need a nice even color. You can still achieve even. It might just look slightly different. Like, I'm still going to put a shade over it, because some things are just going to, like, say, get in the cracks here on the backpack, or, some things just weren't achieved in here with the Basilicanum Gray. You can still see some of the white showing through, and that should definitely help fix that. I used Abaddon Black on the shoulder pad, and you'll notice as well, see this little piece right here, I didn't quite file it down, cut it down whenever I was doing it. Some of them will actually appear as little holes on the models, because, well, it's not like they made those shoulder pads separate. I'd prefer that they had, but the thing is, this represents a model meant for quick table, quick to table. Being that the whole point is you can get playing in a very short amount of time, which is very nice. But some people would say, no, you have to take the same amount of care for them as you do any other model. And you can, but, like, I honestly wasn't thinking about playing in a league before I did anything with these. I might have done something like fill in bits with green stuff. I probably would have used liquid green stuff just to take in some of these smaller bits, maybe been a little bit more careful on like the shoulder pads, and the backpacks here. But it's not a big deal to me. If it's a big deal to you, definitely take the extra care. But like I said, these guys will have like a yellow trim, gray armor. The weapons, didn't really do the black on this because it's going to have the big brass type look on the front here for the flamethrower. I'm not really looking at making this stand out too much. There'll be various reds due to purity seals and other colors. Browns will appear just because of like the holsters for the pistols. And I think it's funny, they have things like, grenades on the model, but they don't have the grenades keyword. And that's really cool if you actually get the chance to use that as a stratagem. Very nice. Feel free to look up the rules on that yourself. But always feel free to also dismantle your model. Never feel that you actually have to stay with like having the model fully assembled. You can be like, well, what happened? It just fell apart. Well, that's fine. Perfectly fine. Like, this is going to be red. I did use a wash on this. Yes, it pooled a little bit. Again, it's not something I'm really worried about. Only when you're getting ready to do all the detail work do you need to start like cleaning up. Like, you can see the extra yellow and stuff. Alright, well, when I go to do that bit of detail, or say like this ribbon here, that's when I'll go ahead and clean that up. Really fixate on making the details look nice. But first I want to get the generalized colors on. Quick funny story. I had a guy had to run up to the shop because I assumed I was going to be letting people in to play some of the Combat Patrol League games. Well, that apparently was not the case. They decided to play a card game and like board game and all that. Admittedly, that didn't make me happy. But then there was this one guy who comes up there, extremely awesome painter. All right, dude is like grade S to grade A's. Like, dude definitely will paint better than me. Like, I'd say like 99 times out of 100. Like, that's how, like, he's really great. Well, the thing is like, I will use stuff like, Apple Barrel from like Walmart. I'll use, Games Workshop colors. All right. And I will use like Vallejo. I got a lot of those from Dad. All right. Yeah, it says Hobby Lobby, but it doesn't matter where you got them from. Just that, are you gonna use them? All right. But the guy was just telling me about how, I was using the wrong yellow and this and that, and how better to apply it, but I have to buy this other color over here. The downside is it's like almost $10, and I'm like, well, I've done most of my yellow already with one color, and I don't mind doing multiple coats, So it was kind of a bit irritating, but him seeing like my terrible brush that I was using, all right, all frayed to nothing. Again, use what you're comfortable with. Use what you're willing to use. Don't let anybody else tell you otherwise. Enjoy yourself while you're doing this. That's the reason why it's a hobby. You only have to take it as seriously as you want to. And even then, still don't take it too seriously. But it was just one of those things. Just being criticized. that can really get to people. So you got to be careful on how you take the various criticisms that some other people will have. Just remember how you did it, remembered why you enjoyed it. But right now, again, I've only got, say, 3 more of these guys to turn gray, and once they're gray, I'll be able to move on to the next spot. Now you'll notice, like over here, I already did the yellow, so I think after I do the gray, I'm gonna do the trim on all these guys. Now I would show you the trim and all that, like, me painting the trim, but again, using the phone, and then it wouldn't really be all that great if my phone goes into my finger goes into focus, but then the model goes out of focus, and I'm not exactly a graduated film student, so if you want to see something like that, just let me know. And as well, if you want to see how to paint something that's not red scorpions, okay, just also let me know. I've got 5 more Infernus guys. I've got tons of Space Marine models that I could use to show you and talk to you about. Who knows? Might give you a history as I'm painting them. But there you go. That's all for right now, because I want to get these guys painted and head to bed. All right. Love you guys. Peace out.